Look, the first fruit multiplier isn't some mystical lottery ticket. It's not magic. It is the raw physics of a biblical economy that honestly makes 0 sense to the human mind. You are here because you have done the math on your bills, but you haven't calculated the cost of holding back the cornerstone. In the next few minutes, you are going to see why 90% of your income, when it's actually protected, buys more than 100% left out in the open. Stick with me. We are going to fix the foundation, and then we will pray. Financial experts tell you wealth is a simple game of addition. Keep what you earn, stack the bricks, build the pile. That logic works fine until the earthquake hits. I used to think that way too. But the kingdom of God operates on inverse math. In Solomon's economy, subtraction triggers multiplication. It sounds crazy, right? You look at your bank ledger, see money leaving, and panic. God looks at your heart and sees a seed about to take over the forest. Let's get real about first fruits. This isn't just about dropping cash in a plate or ticking a religious box. This is about the principle of primacy. It's about sequence. If you build a skyscraper and try to jam the steel beams onto the 10th floor instead of sinking them into the foundation, the whole thing snaps. It doesn't matter how expensive the steel is. You put it in the wrong place. Proverbs chapter 3, verses 9 and 10 gives us the schematic. It says to honor the Lord with your substance and with the first fruits of all your increase. Then your barns get filled. Did you catch the order? Honor first. Abundance second. Most of us want the barns filled first. We say, God, once I pay off this credit card, then I'll give. But God isn't a beggar. He doesn't want your leftovers. When you pay the mortgage, the car note, Netflix, and the grocery bill, and then toss God whatever crumbs are left, you are telling him he is just decoration. You are saying you don't really need him to hold the building up. And that is exactly why you feel that constant, low-level anxiety about money. You are trying to hold up the ceiling with your own 2 hands. Stop looking at your bank balance as a dead number. It is energy. When you consume the first portion, you are claiming to be the source of that energy. And let's be honest, your battery dies. You get tired, the market tanks. But when you release that first portion, you connect your little grid to a massive power plant. You admit you are a manager, not the owner. Giving the last 10% takes 0 faith. You have already bought your groceries. You are safe. Giving the first 10%? That is terrifying. It forces you to step out onto the scaffolding before you see the safety net. It creates a vacuum that heaven has to fill, not because God owes you cash, but because he is faithful to his own laws of physics. I want to ask you something. In this moment, realizing that the order of your money determines the stability of your life, where are you standing? In the comments, just write the city or country you are watching from. Let's see who is building with us. Here is the weird thing about the 90% anomaly. Logic says, if you have $1,000 and give away 100, you are poorer. You have less buying power. True, but only in a closed system. You don't live in a closed system. You live in an open one governed by the Creator. Sir John Templeton, the billionaire investor from our witness squad, called this spiritual compounding. He noticed something strange. People who gave largely with the right heart found their remaining money doing things that spreadsheets couldn't explain. Solomon didn't become the richest man in history by hoarding every copper coin. He triggered a flow. He offered thousands of sacrifices. He understood that wealth decays. Inflation eats it. Rust ruins it. One bad medical diagnosis vaporizes it. But the first fruit acts like a preservative. It creates a perimeter around the rest of your money. We need to talk about the devourer. It sounds intense, I know. But think of it clinically. The devourer is entropy. It is the transmission blowing up 2 days after the warranty expires. It is the pipe bursting under the sink. The Bible, in Malachi, promises that God will rebuke the devourer for your sake. Think back. When was the last time you lost money for no good reason? A hidden fee, a dumb mistake. Maybe the hedge was down. When you keep the first portion, you are essentially stealing building materials from the master builder to patch up your own shack. And because those materials are holy, they burn a hole in your pocket. They don't stay put. Billy Graham used to say, God doesn't need our money. He owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. We need to give to break the chokehold of greed. Greed is a structural crack. By releasing the first fruit, you seal that crack. You tell the entropy, you have no right here. This house is insured. The remaining 90%, blessed by God, stretches further than 100% cursed by disobedience. It's the loaves and fishes thing, just applied to your checking account. If this is making sense, if you can feel the logic clicking into place, hit the like button. It helps us find other builders. Ben Graham, the guy who taught Warren Buffett how to invest, had this concept called the margin of safety. Basically, you buy an asset for less than it is worth, so you don't get wiped out if you make a mistake. In the spiritual world, the first fruit is your margin of safety. It's the insurance policy against total ruin. When you operate without it, you are walking on the edge of a cliff blindfolded. One slip, and it's over. The world screams scarcity. It screams that the pie is small, and if I give you a slice, I starve. That mindset wakes you up at 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling, wondering if you'll have enough to survive. That fear is a liar. It ignores the invisible supplier. Look at what the prophet Haggai said. He was talking to people who worked like dogs, but ignored God's house. Haggai chapter 1, verse 6. You have sown much, and bring in little. You eat, but you have not enough. And he that earns wages to put it into a bag with holes. A bag with holes. That is the perfect description of the unaligned life. You grind, you hustle, you save, and the money just leaks out. The bag has holes because the seal is broken. You are trying to carry water in a sieve. The first fruit repairs the bag. It seals the vessel, so you actually keep what you earn. C.S. Lewis wrote about the danger of relying on natural security. He knew real safety isn't in a pile of dead cash, but in a living connection to the provider. When you give the first fruit, you are declaring independence from the system and dependence on God. You are saying, I trust the invisible God more than the visible dollar. Imagine the relief. Imagine walking into work tomorrow knowing you aren't the ultimate provider for your family. God is. You are just the channel. If the channel gets blocked at your job, God routes the water through another pipe. But if you try to be the source, you are on your own. And a self-sourced life is fragile. It breaks. God's economy is anti-fragile. It gets stronger under pressure. People talk about the 100-fold return like it's a slot machine. You put in a coin, pull the lever, and get rich. No. In the Bible, a 100-fold return wasn't magic. It was a harvest. It took soil, seed, sweat, and rain. The return was natural, but the abundance was supernatural. The law of sowing and reaping is like gravity. You can't cheat it. Sow a little, reap a little. Sow a lot, reap a lot. This isn't about buying a private jet. It is resource management. A farmer who eats all his seed corn in the winter starves in the fall. He has to say no to his hunger now to secure his food later. Sir John Templeton applied this to everything: love, joy, wisdom, money. He believed the more you give away, the more the universe entrusts to you. It is a cycle. When God sees you are a trustworthy delivery truck, He loads you up with more cargo. If you are a pipe clogged with greed, the flow stops. If you flow freely, He cranks up the pressure. He sends resources your way because He knows they won't get stuck with you. Jesus Christ taught this in Luke chapter 6, verse 38. Give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. It's overflowing. It's messy. It's more than you can hold. But here is the catch. You can't mock this. You can't treat God like an ATM algorithm. The heart matters. If you give with a calculator in your hand, waiting for the kickback, you missed it. You are trading, not trusting. The return often comes in ways you didn't budget for. Your health holds up. A brilliant idea hits you in the shower. The right connection walks into the room. Your kids come back to the faith. John Wesley said to earn all you can, save all you can, and give all you can. We usually stop at the save part. We build bigger barns for ourselves. The first fruit breaks that stagnation. Stagnant water rots. Moving water generates power. You have to decide today, is your life a swamp or a river? A swamp hoards. A river flows. We have looked at the blueprints. We have checked the foundation. You know now that the first fruit isn't a bill you pay to God. It is the anchor that keeps you from drifting. It is refusing to bow down to the idol of not enough. Now, we have to move from theory to action. Wisdom without action is just entertainment. You have a choice. You can keep calculating your life with human math, fighting to keep every penny while the bag with holes drains your effort. Or you can step into the supernatural economy. You can test the architect. If you are ready to build differently, subscribe to the Solomon Wealth Code. We are digging up the old wisdom, stone by stone. I need you to focus now. Disconnect from the noise. Close your eyes if you can, or just lock your thoughts with mine. We are going to speak to the one who owns it all. Lord, you own the cattle on 1,000 hills. You designed the system. I confess I have been operating in fear. I've held on tight to what is yours, trusting my savings account more than your promise. I've been building on sand. Today, I'm aligning with your order. I bring the first fruit not as a debt I owe, but as a seed I sow. I ask you to rebuke the devourer for me. Seal the holes in my pockets. Give me the guts to trust you with the first portion, knowing that 90% with your blessing is stronger than 100% on my own. Give me the wisdom of Solomon to manage the rest. Give me the generous heart of the widow. I am stepping out of the scarcity trap and into the kingdom economy. I trust you with my future. I trust